to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. The Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana. But you better call me Sister Speak. The Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Crimes of passion, murder, mystery, obsession, cold cases, and more. Welcome to my first-time listeners, and welcome back to my faithful Sister Speak Show listeners. I am recording from Dallas, Texas. It is 4:41 p.m. How are you? I hope all is well. You read it right. Tonight's episode on the Suspense Files, Expelled, No One Will Tell, Murder in the Student Body. Who? What? When? Where? Why? In urban crime. The Sister Speak Show Network is rated R for strong thoughts, ideas, language. In order for you to listen to the Sister Speak Show, if you're a first-time listener, you'll need two things. You'll need water and scuba gear. Water for healing power, stamina, endurance. It's your gasoline. It's necessary. Reflective power, healing power, as forementioned. And you will also need scuba gear, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, because we dive deep. So deep on the Sister Speak Show Network. Get ready. Tonight's episode is all about being expelled, murder in the student body. No one will tell. Why won't they tell? What's the secret? Who will it expose? What are the ramifications? No one wants to get caught. What was the motive? Why won't anyone speak up? There were too many people there. There's no reason why. No one can speak up. We're all having a good time. There was too many witnesses at the function, at the party, at the school function, whether it's on a high school or college campus. Something has happened in the student body. And we're going to uncover it tonight on the Sister Speak Show. All background music is copyright free, provided by YouTube, as well as, brothers and sisters, tonight's clips. They are all for educational purposes. The Copyright Act of 1976 for fair use, educational purposes only, to raise awareness, to possibly solve a crime. Intended to raise the vibration in the village, because right now, as long as there is one body that has been murdered in our student body, we need to collectively figure out who, what, when, where, and why. Brothers and sisters, I'll be right back after this commercial break. It's always time to podcast and chill with the Sister Speak Show. We want to be the flavor in your ear. That's why we added a new segment, The Hair Appointment, focusing on hair, skin, and nails, with tips, products, and wisdom. We were covering this topic on the Upgrade and in the Speak Sister Speak mobile magazine. On The Hair Appointment, we will embrace, we will learn, we will refrain, and we will embody our crown, because our hair is our crown and glory, and we must protect it. We can't allow any type of damage or lack of wisdom to be the reason why we lose our crown. It's time for the glow up and to express yourself in a high vibration. Why not? Thank you for podcasting and chilling with the Sister Speak Show. The platform is no longer a part of the Sister Speak network. Okay, brothers and sisters, I thank you so much for tuning in to the Suspense Files. I'm so excited about tonight's episode. Now listen, when it comes to school, whether it be on a high school or college campus, no one is expecting to get a phone call or have to place several phone calls looking for their offspring. The routine is set in place. There's a pattern that has been established, and anything off is going to raise an eyebrow. It's going to cause suspicion. It then becomes a mystery because where is my child? What has happened to this teenager or young adult? On a college campus, as I mentioned, or a high school campus, something is going on behind closed doors. And if we are honest, we will admit that nobody is going to be always honest when it comes to keeping some parts of our life a secret. Nobody is going to always reveal what's actually going on, if anything is going on at all. There are just levels to the suspense when it comes to your child. And when I say child, I'm speaking in high school, college, when they are living a double life or not. And when a relationship is involved, there is always going to be a potential for disaster if there are certain spirits involved in that relationship, especially with underdeveloped minds who have not yet grasped the concept of how to balance emotions, energies that are all over the place, dealing with different types of influences and suggestions from peers and other avenues, platforms that have them all over the place, hearing voices, just not knowing how to figure it out. And when you are in a relationship with someone, whether it be a classmate, dorm mate, roommate, you're going to hear sirens in the background, so we know we're on to something, that sometimes these relationships can turn deadly, can lead to many people seeking the whereabouts of someone. You don't always know who that person really is. We don't always know until it might be too late. Now, not all student body murders occur based on relationships. Some actually occur due to being in the right place at the right time, but being around the wrong people. And a car accident, or going to a party, or skipping school, being entangled in something so deep that no one is aware of the double life. Whatever the situation is, there is intrigue and mystery surrounding the murder in the student body. And everything can appear to be live and groovy and funky and all copacetic. But there's something luring behind. There's something, not luring, lurking. And there's something lying in wait. There is a predator in wait. And that predator is a familiar spirit. That predator could be sitting right next to you in your classroom or in the car, in a group photo, classroom photo. It could be a professor. It could be a stalker. It could be anybody. But somebody is not in their right mind. And as a result, no one will tell. What do you mean? Sometimes people just don't want to get involved. Other times people know too much and they don't want to be next. whatever's going on in the student body, someone has been expelled. And that expulsion, spiritually, has caused them to literally go into the deep end, and not in a good way. They can't balance their hormones, their emotions, their excitement, excuse me, and as a result, there's a victim. And the victim is not just the body. It is the family. It is the community. Okay? It is the student body. It is the campus. It is much more than just the two people involved. There are other actors and actresses, if you will, in this movie. And they are all affected by this particular scene. No parent wants to get the call that their child has been murdered while at school. Immediately, everything stops. The news almost sounds as if it's not even coming in. It's just so much, almost inaudible, but you know that you're being told the worst thing ever, that there has been an urban crime committed, and your child is the victim, and the aggressor, if caught, happens to be a peer, somebody that they knew or did not know. And that, as I aforementioned, leads into that. What was really going on? What was going on? Now, as I spoke about before, about boundaries, there are parental boundaries that you have to establish in order to protect your children. Some privacy is not good privacy, especially if there's something going on that if you were to find out, your child knows that you would go off. So in the student body, where there are authorities that are placed to patrol academically as well as security, they witness crimes, murder in the student body, and they also, being a part of the community, have to gather their thoughts and deal with the loss of someone or someone's on their campus, because a lot of murder-suicides, I'm not going to say a lot, but there are enough murder-suicides that do take place, especially on high school campuses. Young, daring lust, thinking that there is nothing else beyond this human, and as a result, getting lost in the sauce and being lured away from sanity, and not being able to recognize that they are not capable yet of handling a relationship of this magnitude. And that magnitude leads to murder-suicides, breaking news, catastrophes, devastation, funerals, and everybody left wondering why. And if the murderer is caught and brought to some form of justice, there's the court case. There's the having to face forgiveness and the power of it. And if you are able to actually even extend it, having to look at the family of the murderer, the students that come to trial that are crying, to witness a murder or hear that a classmate that you just were eating lunch with today, later on tonight, will be murdered by their boyfriend or whatever circumstance, that's a lot to have to ingest, don't you think? Your first encounter with death on a close level. I'm not talking about watching TV. I'm not talking about watching any other type of video platform. I'm talking about this one is hitting directly on the lunch bench. This one is hitting right there. Because then the paranoia and the fear sets in, and you wonder if it could happen to you next, or if you'll be next. There is a paralyzation that manifests over many of the students in both college and high school campuses that makes them, for the first time in their life, personally, outside of maybe a family member passing away, personally being affected by murder, and how they too are engaging in the same type of quote unquote normal social behaviors, just like this victim and the villain, the perpetrator. And it makes you then start to say, either you're going to say, oh, that's them, that could never happen to me, or it's going to wake your game up. Because at the beginning of the day, this person who you were sitting next to, or who you were roommates with, whatever the circumstance, is gone at the hands of something tragic. The urban crime. And now everybody's gathering together to find out what happened. Or if someone has gone missing, gathering together to find out, where is the loved one? What happened? They're not home. It's been 72 hours. They were last seen here. They were last seen there. They were at a party. They were at this. They find the car 5 miles away. What happened? There are parties involved. People know what's up. No one will talk. No one will tell, but they know what happened. And so that's when the investigation ramps up. The cases stay warm. Because in the village, we can't have this. We can't have our babies going to high school, elementary, college, but we're going to stick to high school and college today, going to these two places and encountering a who, what, when, where, why event in their lives. And then the spirit of fear taking over the village. You know who the fuck did it, but you won't say anything because your loyalty is to the gutter. Your loyalty is to Satan, the devil. You know who pulled the trigger. You know what happened, but you don't want to say anything because the pallbearer sometimes is the murderer. And it leaves you wondering, all these smiling faces and all these people sitting here consoling and being concerned, but somebody in this circle knows what happened. You know what happened. Being in lust is dangerous. It doesn't matter how old you are, especially when you are unbalanced in your energies and your hormones are all over the place. If you have not yet grasped socially how to control yourself around a woman or a man, a male or a female, a boy or a girl, you are going to be socially awkward and have to bump your heads a few times. But some people, they don't bump their head and get it. They bump their head and they become a schizophrenic nightmare, psychotic, and they end up murdering because their desire and obsession to have this human is out of control, and it is ravaging. It is ravenous, and it is raging. With the evolution of technology and smartphones, you don't know what the fuck is going on. But there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of the communication is happening right here on these smartphones. But people are not making smart decisions on their smartphones. So are these smartphones or dumb phones? Because in the beginning, going to a party, going on a date, just walking the halls and having no clue that someone is infatuated with you, is a lot to handle when the outcome is you will be the next victim. Now, not all victims end up in a casket. They do live to tell about it. They survive. But the horrific details are a lot, and some don't want to ever recount what took place in that situation because they went to school to learn and ended up learning more than what they expected. Are you a student body killer? Are you absolutely, insanely obsessed with someone to the point to where you are willing to do something that will get you capital murder, that will have you facing a lot of spiritual as well as physical consequences as a result of your low vibrating behavior? When you are in high school, your hormones are all over the place, as I aforementioned. And getting in a relationship is the last thing that you really need to do. Why? You're not ready. But Tevin Campbell says I am. That's Tevin. Where is he now? I'm just being real. Seriously, you have to understand something. You're not ready. You're not ready for having sex. You're not ready for oral sex. You're not ready to be all off in the hallways, tongue kissing your life away, dry humping all around, wherever you can find a sneaky spot. You're supposed to go there to get your education and get up out of there. That's just it. There's no in between. There's no party like any type of star. There is no, I'm here to be the it girl, I'm the it guy. Down with the popularity. It's popular to live. It's popular to listen. It's popular to stop shunning the adults in your life who are telling you that you need to slow down. If you're at an age where nobody can tell you something, I'm going to tell you, something will tell you something, whether you want to or not. Listen, whether you want to listen or not. And it's going to have a boom. You're going to not be able to ignore it. How many lessons around you do you have to keep seeing but not retaining and getting? Your progress report when it comes to the lessons around you says that you are failing. You can't let TV, social media, or any of these other influences be the reason why you are making decisions that you're making. I understand it's tough being a teenager now. I would not want to trade places with you. Even just right now, being in your 20s, it's real in the field. And not being equipped with what you need in order to fight off the enemy and the enemies that are coming after you, the zombies that are attacking you, you could end up in a situation where you are counted among the student body that has been murdered. And it would be a shame, and it is a shame, for you to be the victim and no one tell, but they know who did it. The loyalty, I'm telling you, it's real. You need to get in and get out. Getting caught up in relationships is dangerous when you are ill-equipped and your energies are imbalanced. When your equilibrium is off, everything is off. You'll find yourself not wanting to do your schoolwork, not focusing. You went from getting A's and B's to now getting S's and T's, U's and V's. Not even going to school anymore because you're enamored, you're in lust with this person, and you refuse to get back on track. And you were easily distracted. That's lesson number 1. You need to know that about yourself. You are easily distracted. And your weakness is this person or this energy. You have to know what triggers you. Because if not, someone will definitely pull a trigger on you. Boundaries. Patience. You cannot be so willing to be in a relationship or go out to every party or be hanging out with someone that is, you know these niggas is with the shit. Yeah, they 16 and 17, but they rowdy as fuck. And this is your boyfriend. And the chances of you coming out alive, hanging out with him are slim to none. Spiritually and physically. So the question on the hand is, being in the 9th, 10th, wrong clip. Being in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, junior, sophomore, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, in both high school and on college campus, are you telling me that you are willing to be counted among the student body that has been murdered because you won't expel the low vibrating energy that you possess? The sooner you can recognize low vibrating energy, the better off you will be. You don't want it to, even though there's nothing wrong with when you discover it, because praise God that you discover it. However, the sooner you can recognize that energy is real and that if you vibrate low, you're going to do low vibrating things, and that you could end up in a position where someone could take your life away that's your same age or taking the same course that you're taking in the same field that you're in. It's real. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. There's a lot of secrets that go on, and these secrets lead to the expulsion. Being expelled. What is going on in the student body? Something is off. There's not enough curriculum teaching these students about energy, social skills, relationships. I understand some subject matters are necessary for certain things, but you mean to tell me that that overrides or does not have as much value as teaching our youth and our young adults, that they need to be careful when they're in school when it comes to relationships and partying and getting caught up on their phone and certain apps, meeting up with people who are inappropriate in nature and age? There needs to be some type of warning, or is it meant for these young students to self-destruct? Is there a particular reason why there have to be teachers who go out on a limb and risk their entire career to tell these children that the Most High God and Yahweh lives, and that there has to be some type of, and that they actually take the time out to tell them what they really need to know? You can't sit around and talk about the failure of these youth and then you be part of the reason why they're failing. Your tests are harder and harder. That curriculum is not covered. And these students are dealing with real life issues. And some of your students are in relationships or in situationships where murder is right around the corner. And if you don't have the spirit of discernment, or if your entire campus is made up of apathy and not empathy, then you better not be surprised when breaking news is breaking news about what took place. Now you want to have a rally. Now you want to have have all the students come to the gym and talk about it. Now you want to have the workshops. Now you want to have the experts come. Now you want to play a couple movies just to cover your ass. No, to cover your ass is to walk those halls and let them know that no spirit will dominate these hallways, these classrooms, these dorm rooms, these off-campus housing, these parties. It's about being in control to the extent that you can be, and letting that energy be so high vibrating and powerful that the other energies in the building will liken unto this energy because it's so powerful. Once again, expelled. No one will tell. Murder in the student body. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. You were already warned that she was sleeping with the ops, and you're still gonna go over there and lay your head on her pillow. The latest episode of the tour on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, Snakes in the Studio, Part 2, Two-Faced Managers and Artists, Poison in the Pillow, He Said, She Said, Now Someone's Dead. Click the link in the bio for the latest episode of the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Be careful. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. It's always time to podcast and chill with the Sister Speak show. We want to be the flavor in your ear. That's why we added a new segment, the hair appointment. Brothers and sisters, repeat after me. There's no need to chase, only to embrace. The first episode of the hair appointment on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. Episode 1, TLC. Don't go chasing follicles. Please, stick to the textures and the melanin that you're used to. On the hair appointment, we're covering all aspects of hair, skin, and nails for all shades of brown people in the village. Click the link for the latest episode, where you can get tips, products, and wisdom on the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. It's time to podcast and chill. Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show. I am your host, Sister Speak. Expelled. No one will tell. Murder in the student body. Think about the students in your classroom right now before we get ready to get into these clips. Who's withdrawn? Who do you see always clinging in their relationships? Have you noticed any bruising? Has somebody's grades gone from A's to F's? Do they have an attitude? Are they snappy? Are they not even showing up to class? What's going on? Will anybody tell? He said he was going to come back with the gun. You thought he was joking. He did. Breaking news. How secure are your buildings? How secure is the campus? What's really going on in these relationships? What's going on at these parties? What's going on in the student body? Did she say that she would tell? Is that why you buried her body? You drove about 20 miles away because you didn't think you would get caught. The relationship got out of control because you got her pregnant. There is a murder in the student body. Oh, it gets deep. It gets real. The urban crimes are real. Some aren't even reported. They just happen. Yeah, because they think that they've gotten away with it. But I just want you to know that nobody escapes. Nobody gets away with it. The Most High God sees it all. What's going on in your student body? What's going on in your backpack? It's more going on than just homework and tests and lunch and student body activities. Nah. There's a lot of grown folk behavior going on. Why do I say that? Because grown folks behave just like this as well. So what does that mean? If your energies are unbalanced, you will be susceptible to being expelled. It can happen to you. Don't let it. These clips tonight are brought to you for educational purposes only, due to the Copyright Act of 1976 for fair use, to raise awareness, to show that there has to be a higher vibration going on in the village, that this type of behavior on any school campus is unacceptable, or party outside of the school campus still connected to the school. Any function where there's a dysfunction is not okay. And we don't want it. It's litter. And we're picking it up. and we're throwing it in the garbage. I'll see you on the other side of these news clips. You are listening to the Suspense Files and the Sister Speak Show, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime.
Spent the holidays together, and now one is accused of murdering the other. Her boyfriend also charged in the crime. 11 Alive's Deborah Tuff digging deeper into the investigation into Alexis Crawford's death, with her friend Jordan Jones now under arrest.
Jeff, a family friend told me Crawford's family is shocked Jones was allegedly involved. They say the young lady now charged in the murder grew up in a Detroit suburb and grew up in church. They say the Jordan Alexis Crawford's family knew was their daughter's best friend and confidant.
She seemed competent to waive the right.
Jordan Jones waiving her first appearance before a judge Monday.
Have you advised her of the fact that she is in a no-bond status and will remain so today?
No bonding. How's she doing right now?
No comment.
From Jordan Jones' attorney, Jones is accused of murdering her roommate, Clark University student Alexis Crawford. Crawford's family says police told them she was killed one day before they reported her missing.
The family of Alexis Crawford is, of course, still reeling and devastated.
The same family, Reverend Markel Hutchins says, who opened their doors to Jones like she was their own.
Jordan has spent holidays, very sacred holidays, Easter and Thanksgiving, in the Crawford household. She spent other days there. She knew Alexis's siblings and parents, and they knew her. And so for Jordan to be involved is just, it's heart-wrenching.
Days before her murder, Alexis Crawford told Atlanta police Jones's boyfriend, Barron Brantley, sexually assaulted her in the southwest Atlanta apartment she shared with Jones. According to a police report, she told friends she was so uncomfortable she couldn't even sleep in her own bed in the days that followed. After Crawford was reported missing, police spoke to Jones. She told police she and Crawford were not speaking because of what happened. But according to the police report, Crawford still asked Jordan to take her to the D&M package store the day before her family says she was killed.
They weren't just roommates. They were very good friends. In fact, Alexis often referred to Jordan as her best friend.
Now her best friend and her friend's boyfriend, Barron Brantley, charged with her murder.
They're not focused on the cowards that killed her.
As police try to figure out a motive, and the tight-knit Crawford family has to figure out how to fill the hole in their hearts for their daughter, sister, and friend.
One of the things that is remarkable about Alexis Crawford's family is, although Jordan and Barron took Alexis's life, I've not heard 1 ounce of what I would call hatred.
Crawford's body discovered in a DeKalb County park Friday, more than a week after she was first reported missing. Her, her celebration of life service scheduled for this Saturday at noon in Athens. Here's what I'm working on at 6. Did the family think the police could have done more in the time Alexis reported the assault and the time she was killed? The answer coming up at 6.
Epping Forest in Essex, the police found a body in a pond. Officers investigating the disappearance of student Richard Okoragaya have been informed. The 19-year-old left his family home in West London a fortnight ago. His family didn't know why.
I don't know what to think at the moment. My feelings is everywhere. I don't know. It's scary.
He boarded a bus and later took a taxi to a street in Loughton in Essex, 20 miles away. CCTV shows Richard, who has sickle cell disease, walking towards Epping Forest. This is his last known sighting. A week after he was last seen, friends near his home in Ladbroke Grove began putting up missing posters, appealing for information. The discovery comes 5 days after police began searching the forest, which covers an area of 6,000 acres, much of it densely wooded. Richard's family have been informed of the developments. No formal identification has yet taken place, but the Metropolitan Police say they are supporting the family. Officers remain at the site as the identification process continues. Ashna Harinag, Sky News.
Alabama college student last heard from Wednesday night. Family and friends are pleading for the safe return of Anaya Blanchard, the stepdaughter of UFC heavyweight Walt Harris. Lindsay Davis here with the story. And Lindsay, police have found her car, but no sign of Anaya.
That's right. Good morning to you, George. Thanks to a tip, the car was found. It was damaged at a Montgomery, Alabama apartment complex 2 days after Anaya was last heard from. But the 19-year-old college student is still missing. And now her stepfather, UFC fighter Walt Harris, is pleading with his social media followers, writing, "Please help." This morning, the mystery deepens surrounding the disappearance of missing college student Anaya Haley Blanchard. The 19-year-old's SUV was recovered by local authorities about 50 miles from her home in the parking lot of this apartment complex in Montgomery, Alabama. The vehicle was found with damage, the front right side covered in scratches and dents. Blanchard is the stepdaughter of UFC heavyweight Walt Harris. The 36-year-old has been sending out pleas through social media, going on Facebook with his wife, Anaya's mother, Angela Harris.
If you have any leads on where our daughter is, Anaya Blanchard, please go to the authorities, tell someone.
According to police, Blanchard's vehicle was last seen in Auburn just before midnight Wednesday. She was last seen wearing duck boots, black stockings, and a black dress. Over the weekend, her mother told a Birmingham TV station that her debit card was last used around 11:30 that night, and that she messaged her roommate saying that she was out with a guy. Blanchard's friend and classmate at Southern Union State Community College, Summer Watley, said there were no signs that anything was amiss.
This is completely out of character from her. This isn't just something that she wanted to get up and run away. This is a very serious matter, and something has happened.
And when Anaya last communicated with her friend on the night of her disappearance, police say she did not identify the man that she was with. She did not show up for work the next morning, which was Thursday morning. Police say that there's no evidence of foul play. Of course, they're asking for anybody who's seen anything to call police, but especially they're wondering about that car crash. Anybody who may have witnessed something with the car.
Hopefully they'll come forward.
Yes.
Thank you, Clint.
Missing Alabama slowly come out this week about what led to an elevator collapse inside an Atlanta apartment building, claiming the life of a young student athlete.
Today, Atlanta police released body camera footage of the moments leading up to that incident and the attempt to rescue that young man. Joe Henke walks us through the video.
The nearly 2 hours of body camera footage shows the chaotic moments when Atlanta police and firefighters arrived at the building behind me on Tuesday, then the long process to free the man who was pinned by the elevator, and finally it captures surveillance video showing the moment the elevator collapsed.
How many people's in there?
The surveillance video shows the elevator moving down, its doors open, a crowd of people on board as a few escape, but Jamarcus McFarland became pinned between the top of the elevator and the floor. A report from Atlanta Fire listed 16 people plus McFarland as being on the elevator. McFarland recently moved to Atlanta to play football at Championship Prep Academy and lived in this Highland Avenue building with his teammates where the incident happened. Atlanta Fire previously described the elevator as collapsing. The property manager tells 11 Alive the elevator's weight limit of 3,000 pounds was exceeded by nearly 1,000 pounds. State records show the elevator's yearly inspection permit expired in August of 2020. When officers and firefighters arrived, McFarland's teammates are huddled around the elevator, encouraging him. The officer directs all the players to leave the floor, though.
If you want to help, you have to go back.
As more and more firefighters arrive and need room to work, the entire process to free McFarland takes over an hour. Meanwhile, the officer is gathering information on what led to McFarland becoming trapped.
His friend said it was higher, and he decided to crawl out, and it started moving slowly.
Once on a stretcher, firefighters take McFarland to Atlanta Medical Center next door where he died. The officer, by the end of the video, is shaken and takes a seat.
Wasn't expecting that.
The incident from Tuesday is being looked into by state investigators. As soon as they release findings of their investigation, we'll update you on 11alive.com.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. So in the past hour, lawyers representing the family of the young man announced that they plan to conduct an independent investigation into the incident.
And a tragic ending to a story we've been following for the past week. Authorities have confirmed that the body recovered in the Mississippi River in St. John Parish yesterday is that of missing LSU student Corey Goje. You'll recall her vehicle was involved in a crash on the Mississippi River Bridge at Baton Rouge, but she was nowhere to be found. LSU police say they've concluded there was no criminal activity or foul play involved, but they did decline to say anything more out of respect for the family's privacy.
I love it. What did you gain?
Anger and sadness tonight after the body of 21-year-old Marquez Jones was found.
Jones's body was found in Lake Pontchartrain yesterday. JP deputies say a boater found the body and called 911.
Jade Cunningham has more on what his closest friends are saying. Hearts are breaking.
I've known Marquez from as far as I can remember.
Tears are falling.
I just couldn't understand why somebody would do that to him.
Because those who knew 21-year-old Marquez Jones says he was so loved.
Marquez was full of life. He was a great person. Like I said, I don't understand why somebody would do this to him. And it could have been anybody. It could have been anyone.
Jones had been missing for 2 weeks. He reportedly had left a party in New Orleans on Gonzaga Street February 26. But after that, it's unclear what happened.
From what I've been told, it was all girls at the party. Everyone who was at the party supposedly stayed there. He was the only one that left. From my understanding, he was supposed to stay by a friend's house in the east, which gave us the idea to look around.
Jamie Partman, Dejanelle White, Damani Gibson, and a few others went to the east to find Marquez. They instead found his car abandoned, sitting in an apartment parking lot.
We knew it was his car from the parking sticker he had in his window.
There was still hope, but on Thursday, that turned to grief after a boater found Jones's body in Lake Pontchartrain.
And by the time I went to his mom's house, I could tell, from the expressions and stuff that, it was him.
The news has been devastating.
His case won't go cold. We want justice, and we want to find out who did this to him and why y'all did this to him.
And they say they won't give up until all answers are found. Jay Cunningham, Eyewitness News. Jones's mother told Eyewitness News the family is hurting, but the support they've received from friends, family, and strangers has helped tremendously.
We continue with the search for a missing honor student in upstate New York. She was last seen more than a week ago at her Buffalo State College dorm. TJ Holmes has the latest. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning, guys. And everybody take a look. This is Sanaya Dennis, 19 years old. She's a college student. Her family says she is such a creature of habit that even if she's running behind, she'll call and let you know she's running behind. Well, the family hasn't heard from her in quite some time. In fact, her cell phone hasn't been used in 8 days. No credit card of hers has been used in 8 days. There is no electronic surveillance of any kind that has caught her in the past 8 days. This young lady has simply vanished. A family desperate for answers as they search for Sanaya Dennis. The 19-year-old Buffalo State College student has been missing since Saturday, April 24th, when she was last seen in this surveillance image from inside her dorm. Her family says the sophomore handed in a school assignment, then caught a bus to Niagara Falls.
This is not like her. This is not of her nature. She is, my mother always said she's a creature of habit.
Later that day, a ping from her cell phone was detected near Niagara Falls State Park, 17 miles from campus. But then she seemingly vanished.
Since that day, there has been no cell phone or electronic activity, no financial activity, no other communication with family or friends.
Dennis is an honors student in mechanical engineering. Police say right now there are no signs of foul play, but her sister says it's highly unusual for her not to keep in touch with family.
When she comes to visit my mother in the city or comes to visit our family, she lets her know when she's running late, or she lets her know who she's going to be with or what time she expects to be home.
Her father has now traveled to Niagara Falls to search for her.
I can't leave if I didn't say I looked at every infamous part. I think that time is the essence, especially of stuff like when it happened like this. It's just a very time sensitive matter.
And police say this is not a runaway situation. They do not expect or suspect foul play. They just don't know what happened. The family now is putting up a $10,000 reward of their own money to try to get some information to track her down.
Mm-hmm. They must be going to it. Yeah, can't imagine. All right, thank you so much, TJ.
The sudden death of a high school student sending shockwaves through a community. The 17-year-old died after collapsing on the field during dance practice. Latasha Givens live outside Arabia Mountain High School in DeKalb County for us this morning. Latasha, what have you been able to learn about her cause of death?
Well, Sheba, this has just been heartbreaking for her entire family and friends here at the school. They say yesterday started off like any other day, but ended with Elise dying so unexpectedly. Now, this is what we know so far. Her brother says that he dropped her off at dance practice at school around 7 a.m. The family says at some point she passed out during practice. Now, they also say this has happened before, but they are not aware of her having any sort of illnesses. But they tell us doctors told them her death could have been due to dehydration and a possible unknown heart condition, but that has not been confirmed with a medical examiner. Here's a little of what her father shared with us.
She had all the accolades. She worked very hard this year. She outworked everybody. She was a beautiful spirit. We're gonna miss her.
And what makes her death even more painful for her family is the fact that she'll never get to live out her dream, which was dance with the Arabian Mountain High School dance team, a team she didn't make last year, but made this summer. Back to you.
All right, Natasha, just really, really sad. New information about a Bay Area high school cheerleader's final moments last July as the men charged with her murder prepare to stand trial. As I-Team investigator Adam Walzer has learned, authorities are still hoping that new witnesses will come forward.
This segment is going to repeat itself just for a little bit.
This frantic scene was captured by a state trooper's dash cam back in July after the officer pulled over a speeding car near the Sarasota-Manatee County line. I got a female that got shot. 17-year-old Riverview High School cheerleader Tara Lee Ross had been shot in the backseat of the car. Did anyone see anything? No. Officers desperately performed CPR on Tara Lee, but weren't able to save her. The shooting happened moments earlier in this movie theater parking lot in Manatee County, where more than 100 young people were gathered. Investigators say a fight broke out between two rival groups, one from Manatee County, the other from Sarasota County. Bullets began to fly, and one struck Tara Lee in the head, severing her carotid artery.
We sat there, I was just talking to Terrio, and as we were leaving, we heard gunshots.
This video obtained by the I-Team shows investigators questioning the occupants of the car.
And I just looked back, and I seen that she was holding her chest, the blood was coming out.
When I heard gunshots, it happened so fast I couldn't even say done anything. So I just smashed on the gas.
But few people who could actually see who fired the shots provided information. When you have over 100 people and you have very few witnesses stepping forward, it gets very frustrating for investigators. Manatee County homicide investigators charged Jasper Dudley and Frank Price with the murder 3 days after the shooting. More than 50 people who were at the scene were interviewed, but most claim to know nothing. You know, sometimes you just need to do the right thing and get involved. And that's what we're asking people to do here. Tara Lee's parents visit their daughter's grave daily, both still too upset to talk about the murder. They last spoke out publicly at the suspect's arraignment.
I just want justice to be served for my child, please, Your Honor.
I lost a daughter behind stupidity.
In the 6 months since her death, Tara Lee has been honored by a candlelight vigil, a commemorative video, and a tribute at a Riverview High football game. But her parents say helping authorities is the best way her friends can keep her memory alive. And we would love for those people to come forward. It's not too late. Homicide investigators say that witnesses can provide information anonymously if they have to, and that every single fact could assist them in securing a conviction in the case. I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walzer, taking action for you.
About a Bay Area high school cheerleader's final moments last July as the men charged with her murder prepare to stand trial. As I-Team investigator Adam Walzer has learned, authorities are still hoping that new witnesses will come forward.
This frantic scene was captured by a state trooper's dash cam back in July after the officer pulled over a speeding car near the Sarasota-Manatee County line.
I got a female that got shot.
17-year-old Riverview High School cheerleader Tara Lee Ross had been shot in the backseat of the car.
Did anyone see anything? No.
Officers desperately performed CPR on Tara Lee, but weren't able to save her. The shooting happened moments earlier in this movie theater parking lot in Manatee County, where more than 100 young people were gathered. Investigators say a fight broke out between two rival groups, one from Manatee County, the other from Sarasota County. Bullets began to fly, and one struck Tara Lee in the head, severing her carotid artery.
We sat there, I was just talking to Terrio, and as we were leaving, we heard gunshots.
This
This video obtained by the I-Team shows investigators questioning the occupants of the car.
I just looked back and I seen that she was holding her chest and blood was coming out.
When I heard the gunshots, it happened so fast I couldn't even say like duck or anything. So I just smashed on the gas.
But few people who could actually see who fired the shots provided information. When you have over 100
From high school graduation, a young mom shot dead. Her ex-boyfriend turns a gun on himself. It's a heartbreaking story still unfolding tonight in Osceola County. Good evening to you. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Deputies say they were called to a home on Blackpool Way around noon today, and that's where they found the 18-year-old woman shot and killed. News 6 reporter Eric Sandoval is live in Poinciana tonight with more. Eric?
Yeah, Lisa, we found out this young mother was getting ready to walk the stage at graduation here at Liberty High School 2 weeks from tonight. Instead, her family is mourning a horrible loss. Tonight, the pain for this family was often too much to bear. Osceola County Sheriff's investigators say a woman called 911 around noon today from this home on Blackpool Way. She said someone she knew was trying to get inside, and he was armed. When deputies arrived, they say they confronted a man matching the description a block away, and that is when he pulled out his gun and shot himself. They identified him as 20-year-old Kai Douglas Williams. And inside the house, they say they found his estranged girlfriend, 18-year-old Larissa Barros, shot dead.
She was my best friend.
Drew Smith says he's known Barros since the 2nd grade, and he lived down the street.
It's heartbroken as hell. Chest feels empty when you lose somebody that means so much to you.
Smith said the couple had a little boy, and they also had problems. News 6 investigated, and according to the Osceola County court records, Williams wasn't supposed to go near Barros. He had a restraining order after a case of domestic violence. Her friends tell us he set her car on fire here at school. He had also been arrested for stalking Barros, and we found out he was just ordered in February to begin paying child support.
This is a terrible tragedy to lose two young people, especially a high school girl who's about to graduate in just a few weeks. It's just horrible.
It is horrible. And, we spoke with Osceola County Public Schools tonight. They say that their crisis team is actually going to be here at Liberty High School tomorrow morning. They said grief counselors and social workers will be here to help both students and faculty get through what is most definitely a painful situation for everybody. We're live in Poinciana tonight. Eric Sandoval, News 6. Lisa?
Yeah, her charge of killing his ex-girlfriend as they sat outside her home faced a judge for the first time today. 19-year-old Marvin Patterson told police, quote, he decided to point a gun at Kiara Brown's head as they talked in her car. The Vincent High School senior died instantly. Katie Crowther is live at the Milwaukee County Courthouse where Patterson could remain for a very long time. Katie.
Yeah, that's right, Carol. If convicted, Patterson faces more than 60 years in prison. What we've learned today about the moments leading up to Kiara Brown's death proves just how senseless it really was.
Kiara Brown's family is left planning the 18-year-old's funeral instead of her high school graduation party. Brown's ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old Marvin Patterson, turned himself into police on Tuesday, 24 hours after Brown was found dead in the passenger seat of her white Audi, which was left in an alley near 98th and Carmen, with the driver's side door open. And police say the gun was under her body. Today, handcuffed in court, Patterson cried as his bail was set.
It's one of those moments on why young people, in my estimation, should not be in possession of firearms. Inexperienced, unable to properly deal with your firearm.
According to the criminal complaint, Patterson initially told investigators the gun was in the car's cup holder. Brown picked up the gun, and while he was trying to take it away from her, the gun went off. But later changed his story, saying he decided to point the gun at her head, and when he did, the gun went off. He said he did not intend to kill her, and after shooting her, he freaked out and drove the car into an alley. Left her there and took off. Brown's mother says her daughter and Patterson, who graduated from Vincent High School last year, had broken up but had been back in touch recently. He asked Brown to meet with him to talk. That talk turning deadly.
And grief counselors have been made available at Vincent High School. As for Brown's funeral, it is 1 week from today. A visitation will be held the night before at Krause Funeral Home. Reporting live from the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Katie Crowther, today's TMJ4.
Yeah, just heartbreaking. Katie, thank you very much.
A Fayetteville family is grieving the death of a 16-year-old girl tonight.
Police say Brianna Brown was shot and killed by her 21-year-old boyfriend. CBS 17's Amy Cutler spoke with the family members about their loss.
It happened right inside this apartment that Brianna Brown called home. Her mother is heartbroken and says she still can't bring herself to go inside. Meantime, at the doorstep of the apartment is a small makeshift memorial in the 16-year-old's honor.
Can't just play with guns.
This was 16-year-old Brianna Brown. The sophomore at Westover High School died Wednesday afternoon after police say she was shot by her 21-year-old boyfriend, Timothy Swinson Willis. It happened on Wood Creek Drive in Fayetteville.
We just buried my grandmother 3 weeks ago. Now, I'm here to bury my niece. It's not the greatest feeling in the world to lose a backbone of a family and someone that never got a chance to live life.
Anthony Waits was her uncle. He lives in Tennessee and jumped on a plane as soon as he heard.
Full of fun. Loved to dance. Loved her friends.
Swinson Willis has been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Waits says his niece was shot in the face.
Anybody that has a gun should know what they're doing with it before they take it out and start to play with it. You were 21 years old. My niece is 16. You should have never been with her.
Waite says the family didn't know how old Swinson Willis is, that the couple had only been together for a few months. The family is organizing a vigil in Brianna's honor that will take place tomorrow at 8 o'clock here at the apartment complex. They've also started a GoFundMe page to cover funeral expenses. For more information on that, just head to our website. In Fayetteville, Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News.
No weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is Sister Speak with a word of encouragement. No matter what the enemy or enemies try to do to you, God will cause their plans to take no effect, and the pit that they dig for you, they shall fall in. If God be for you, who can be against you? Now say it with me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Be encouraged. Now all I need is a Superfly blazer and a pair of shorts for my photo shoot. Sis, have you made any progress? Everything has to be fly. I'm a professional stylist for a reason, sis. I found these two pieces from KK Lachey. They're perfect for your photo shoot. Sitting pics now. Oh, these are lit. Book the look, sis. I ordered the outfit already, sis. Your photo shoot is going to be epic. The summer sale at KK Lachey is going on now. With these looks and more in stock, you're guaranteed to find the look that you need, whether it's for a photo shoot or a day or night out. Shop kklachey.com and get ready. The look, the feel, the vibe. kklachey.com. There are 3 ingredients that create a good time: relaxation, peace, and laughter. The latest episode of the Laugh Line on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now, and it's going to give you all 3 rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts on this episode. Comedians we respect. Dave Chappelle's tribute to comedians, naturally funny. How Going Live has advanced comedy careers. Tommy Davidson, a stand-up comedian different from the rest. On the Laugh Line, we're covering all aspects of comedy, classic and contemporary comedy audio clips, special guest comedians, comedy show reviews. You do not want to miss this episode. You're definitely going to be laughing, especially with the Sister Speak sit-down comedy. Get ready. On the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Click the link for the latest episode. It's time to podcast and chill. Welcome back. You are listening to The Vent Session. On on the Sister Speak Show. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. I guess that's because I'm getting ready to vent. That's probably why I said that. But you are listening to the Suspense Files. I'm your host, Sister Speak. You listen to those clips for educational purposes only, to raise awareness. And it's not as if you did not know about these things. My listening audience is intelligent, wise. However, this is the news. I'm a news personality, and this is what was needed for tonight's episode on the Suspense Files. Expelled. No one will tell. Murder in the student body. A car found 50 miles away from its normal proximity is alarming. To go out with the guy and never be seen again is terrifying. For all parties involved who genuinely care and are not involved in the crime that has manifested, this is tragic breaking news. A college student texting her friend, "I'll be back. I'm going out with the guy." And you don't want your business out there. A lot of times people like to protect who they're seeing and just don't want it to get ruined. So they shade or hide whoever they're with because it's nobody's business. Right? Wrong when it ends up like this. Somebody needs to know who you're going to go see. Now, if this person who you're going to go see is going to raise disapproval or an eyebrow or have somebody say, "I really don't think you should do that," then is that the reason why you're not going to tell anybody? Because you're grown and you don't want anybody in your business and nobody can tell you what to do. You're out here living your worst life in this capacity because nobody can tell you what to do. And so here it is. Someone has decided to commit foul play. They say there was no evidence, but shit, that's a lie. Something went wrong when they hooked up. When they met up, something went wrong. To have your car and then to end up not in the same condition, something is wrong. In an apartment complex, who was driving the car? How did the car get there? These are the questions that the family wants to know. This is why the family can't sleep at night. Do you not understand that the total devastation that occurs when a family member or family members have to hear that breaking news? And then if they are, depending on their energy, if they don't have the coping skills or the proper support system, this can take them under to where they either are going to become despondent or it can take them over to where they become a vigilante, seeking justice for other people, making sure that awareness is raised because their child never came back home. And of course, you're going to look at whoever was involved. Who was this man? Who are these men that your daughters are dating? Who are these women that your sons are dating? These girls, these boys, you don't know. Do you know anything about them? Are the days gone where we don't ask for phone numbers and parents' names and addresses? Are the days gone where you are the parent and they are the child? Who runs your home? Now, this is no dig to anybody who has become the victim of the breaking news. I'm asking about what's going on in the home and who's running it. Is there anybody in touch with the emotions that are going on in the home? Stay out my business, mind your business, it ain't nobody's business. Yet and still, this child is in your home, living under your care, which you're supposed to provide, yet they're flippant, and you'd rather be their friend than an investigator. You be their friend, and now you have to deal with forensics. We can't have that happening. So, and that's not every story. Not every relationship is botched. Not every relationship is low vibrating. Some situations just happen, and there was no food poisoning. Okay? All the ingredients were good. It's just that this is somebody else's offense. Speaking about the person, the villain. So when it comes to the texting and the secret meetups, who are they meeting up with? Who are these men? Who are these women? Who are these boys? And who are these girls? They're not missing anything that they don't date right now. We all know that, because we can testify to some of the dates that we've been on. And we as adult women and men know that we have been in some situations that we are grateful that we're even alive today to talk about it. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but we'll spend enough time on it if it's going to educate a captive, your child, whether they're in high school or an adult. The talks don't ever stop. That's why you have to keep on learning. Keep on being aware of the times. That doesn't mean to get out here and try to be in competition with the times. It means that you need to be aware. As long as your brain is able to keep on moving and grooving, it's finding out what's the temperature and the climate right now. What's going on in the culture? What is the dating atmosphere like? How? And these youth and young adults, they move at a faster speed. So, the intimacy, the fornication, the mis-sex education, if you will, the sex miseducation is definitely what is navigating them, and they are entering into energies that now create obsession, addictions, unbalanced. They're not thinking about school. Who are they texting? Who just picked them up around the corner? Who's following them when they get off the bus? Who's at this party? What's going to be at the party? Where's the party going to be at? You have a curfew. I don't give a damn how old you are. You have a curfew. Or you can't go. And then, of course, yes, you have to deal with the sneaking out. However, when you are willing to do what you have to do, not being manic, not being crazy, but when you are willing to do whatever you have to do, your child is not going to be able to escape your home when you're alert. Who's in their direct messages? Who's in their email? Who's on their game console? What is going on in high school land and in college land is the question. 50 miles away. Never came back. Went to go meet up with a guy. Some meetups, I'm telling you all right now, let this be a lesson. Even if you are an adult, you have to be careful who you meet up with. He will tell you, she will tell you everything that you need to hear. And when you're balanced, when your energies are not balanced, you will believe the shit. You will believe the hype. You will actually sit there and be like, for real? For real? You'll really be enamored by this bullshit. And all they have to do is just continue to manipulate you with this wordplay, this witchcraft, and bait you in. And now you went from here to there, and you're almost unrecognizable, and you're withdrawn because you're dealing with abuse. You got caught up in some shit that you weren't expecting that night. You go around the corner to have a conversation because they want to talk about getting back together, and you're feeling a little nostalgic. You're kind of traveling down memory lane. They're sending that sympathy magic towards you. And next thing you know, they kill you because you don't want to deal with them anymore, because breaking up is not as easy as getting together is. Come on, somebody. We see that. Everybody doesn't take a breakup as soft as others. The blow can be intense depending on the energy. And in high school, breakups are dangerous, especially if this is your first learn, your first lust. And even as an adult, expelled. Will we be honest and say, that we don't always know who we're texting, who we're going to meet up with, who we're involved with, who we're kissing, who we're fornicating, who we're entangled with. Going to high school and college is hard enough. Passing classes, dealing with the workload, school load, and other issues, and then to have to deal with a murder in the student body. No one will tell. So the crime starts to cool off. It's getting colder because of this loyalty to fuckery, the loyalty to the criminal, the loyalty to the death spirit, the murder spirit, the violence. You're loyal to the streets, right? That's why you won't say anything when you saw who did it, who pulled the trigger. You know about the abuse, but no one will tell. No one will tell. At all. Don't want to be involved. When you put out an ad for a roommate, you're not expecting to have to fight for your life, nor are you expecting to leave in a body bag. Cheers. And I understand that looking for a roommate is necessary to save money. And saving money is what the entire objective is. However, some roommates are crazy, obsessive, deranged, and you really don't know who they are, even though you've done a full background check or not. Whether that be a dorm mate or an off-campus roommate, whatever, you really don't know who this person is. Sometimes a roommate can be somebody familiar. However, this person right here is unstable, insane, and to have to be assaulted allegedly by anyone's boyfriend, and then you have to tell them, look, your man's pushed up on me and assaulted me, and then for you to not receive the news. And I'm not talking about this person is falsifying. I'm talking about this really happened. And now you want to side with the nigga who did the shit. Your nigga ain't shit, and neither are you. And neither are you. How could they? How could you be? She told you that your man ain't shit. He is out here pressing up on people, dominating me. He has assaulted me. And instead of you saying, thank you, sis, good looking, you want to now team up and gang up on me because I'm telling you about your nigga? You so desperate to keep him? You think everybody want him? Obviously, nobody wants him but you. And he obviously doesn't have good taste because he chose you. So why would I want anybody who doesn't have good taste? He pressed upon me because he saw that I wasn't entertaining him. And I'm telling you, your man is shady. Whether we in high school or whether we in college or whether we just roommates or not, I'm telling you this because that's what I'm supposed to do as a woman, as a female. I would want to know. So how is it now that I'm fighting for my life behind this sorry ass nigga? At 21, 18, 16, it doesn't matter. Why am I having to be jumped or have to run for my life and then end up being killed behind a sorry ass nigga. Sorry ass niggas just don't come around after their 30s. No, they are young. And it's just what it is. If you don't like it, you can click off. The energy. You've been around, you've seen it, and if you are not aware of the culture, you better get out and drive. Well, I don't bid you to get out and drive, but you better go on YouTube and tour some of these hoods via YouTube and see what the fuck is really going on these days and understand that there is urban crime taking place and it's real in the field. Sorry ass niggas exist at any age. Know that. Male or female, all grouped in one. The parent getting the phone call that their daughter has been murdered by their roommate. How tragic. How tragic. Some males don't know how to take no for an answer. Some females don't know how to take no for an answer. And the spirit of being obsessed is real. You want my man. That's what it really is. Oh, no. What it really is you want my man. I seen how you looking at him. I'm looking at him because the nigga's ugly as fuck. And he's dusty as hell. And he has not changed his clothes in 4 days. The nigga's been over here for 8 days. We had a conversation about this shit. We would both respect each other's boundaries when it comes to company and alert each other. And we also said that we would not put each other in any type of fucked up situation because we ain't trying to get kicked out because we both need this place. You needed a roommate and you got one, but this nigga has not left and he doesn't pay any bills. Why didn't you just have this nigga be your roommate? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm paying your niggas rent. That's what I'm really doing. And now I'm uncomfortable when I'm around him. I'm just trying to finish school. I'm pursuing my nursing degree. I'm not trying to get caught up in the fuck shit, but the fuck shit energy is here. And so here it is that I'm now uncomfortable around your nigga because he vibrates low. And obviously so do you. Everything we talked about is out the window because when you left, I had to fight for my life. And I told you, and what you did was you turned your back on me. See, that's the problem with some sisters. Some of you sisters don't want to hear the fucking truth about your nigga. Your nigga ain't shit. Your friends told you, and outside of that, your dreams did. So did the red flags, but you don't give a damn. And you bring your ain't shit nigga around your friends, and he's licking his chops because he's ravenous, out of control, unbalanced, sexually addicted, socially awkward, uneducated, obviously an enemy of the village. And you leave women, your friends, susceptible to his energy. And his friends are just as low vibrating. And when we tell you that when you weren't looking, this nigga is eyeballing me, you think I want him and I'm just jealous. Sis, that ain't always the case. We got to get off of that. Not everybody is jealous of the relationship that you're in. You need to know that. Nobody wants him but you and anybody else that's in that type of energy. But you expect me as a sister to tell you when your nigga is off the chain. I'm not looking for the nigga to be off the chain. Why would I, as a sister, want you to ever feel like, I don't want you to be in something right, but I sure don't want you to be in something wrong. So when I'm with you, it's all good. But then when I say something that you don't want to hear, even though it's the truth, now I catch the attitude, even though he's supposed to catch the attitude. Not today. Not today. We might even have to tussle because you're not going to come at me like that. I'm telling you, your nigga keeps eyeballing me. And some of you sisters need to know that your man, some of your men are dirty as hell. And your girlfriends are uncomfortable. Some of your family members can tell that there's something wrong with this nigga. Something's off with this young boy. I'm not really comfortable with this young man. Something. Who are his parents? Oh, well, and there it is. You gotta travel through 7 levels to get to his house. And there it is. The reason why in a few months your child is going to be in a situation that's going to end up in either a violent assault, a stalking, a jumping, or murder. Murder in the student body. No one will tell. And it might be solved or not. Depending on the energy in pursuing justice. So, if I tell you, yo nigga eyeball me, he eyeballed me. I'm not finna eyeball him back. I'm not thirsty, I'm not desperate. Now, if you are in a type of situation where you know the company around you will do some old sneaky link shit, will be out there on some fuck shit, then what type of company are you around? If you can't trust your friends, why are they your friends? Oh, it's kind of like a frenemy thing. It's complicated. No, it's not. It's called, I bid you a good day and night. But let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. Have we not yet discovered or learned that there has to be a way that you break up with people, because some breakups do not end peacefully? I'll be right back. No, you won't. I'm just going to go out. I don't think you should do that. Yeah, I'm just going to go meet him, in the back of the woods and tell him that it's over. For what? Well, that's where we first met. Was he crawling on all fours when you met him? Walking on all fours? I'm asking. Why do we feel compelled to tell somebody that we're escaping? Hi, I know I've been kidnapped, but I just want you to know I'm going to escape today. No, you're not. Okay. You understand what I'm saying to you? No. There is a way to escape, but there's also a way to escape even getting caught up, in a relationship or a friendship with somebody who we really don't know who they are, or going to a party. And next thing you know, it's a party full of 16-year-olds and they letting loose the guns. What the fuck are you doing with guns in the first place? I understand the block is hot. Well, the block is hot because your ass is on it. Now, if all y'all niggas would get off the block, how could it ever be hot? I'm just asking, which one of you will stop playing Simon Says, follow the follower, stop playing follow the follower, and get your ass off the block so it won't be hot? 16 years old out there with the shit. And then you just can't wait to find some point of the gathering to let loose. And you can't shoot worth shit. And next thing you know, here's this young girl struck and in the back of the car, and they can't revive her. You tell me how the fuck that makes sense. Take your mother ass in the house. I'm telling all you niggas. I don't care what the situation is. Your mama ain't there, your daddy ain't there. As the village, I'm telling you, take your dusty, funky ass back in the house. Sit your ass in the tub. Get your ass in the shower. And get your shit together. Because you, my brother, making the block hot. You, my brother, who is in the danger zone at 16 years old, 15, 13, 14, 10, 11, gangster as all get out. Going to functions intentionally ready to start some shit. Intentionally. You know what you finna do. That's why you got the gun. Yeah, you never know who's going to be there. Your fucking ass is going to be there. Okay? Niggas like you are going to be there. And all this funkin' and all this shit at the beginning of the day, as I will say, and I will continue to say, you will you are the hose and the devil is the pimp. Because in your teenage years, in your young adult years, you are to make it. I understand what the temperature is. But as the village is concerned, there has to be something that goes on to where we stop fucking walking over the litter and start picking it up. And the moment somebody wants to pick up the litter, here comes one of you niggas saying, why you picking up the litter? You doing it too much. Why you picking up the litter? It ain't even that serious. Why you picking up all that garbage? Why you putting the garbage in the garbage can? Why you cleaning up? Why you sweeping up? It ain't even that serious. Fuck you and get out. Go join the nations. Get your ass out of here. You're part of the problem. You want a solution? Fuck a workshop. Just leave. You're already a zombie as it is. Stop giving birth to children that you literally, if I'm talking about outside of adoption, I'm saying stop giving birth to children and then not wanting to be involved in their lives, and then not understanding that their voices, if they are silenced, will lead to murder in the student body. And it's sad to say, but that is the awakening that some parents often have to get. It's not just about y'all. It's about all of us. It's about all of us. You let loose at the party. First of all, you need to be at home. Each city should have a curfew. And you do need to expedite your police services in a non-brutal way, policing the community in a non-brutal way, being a public service provider in a non-brutal way. But there has to be curfew implemented in every city. That's the only way. Now, of course, you can't round up everybody, but if you're diligent, you could definitely have some statistics that go in your favor for lowering crime in your community. But if you're a cop, can't operate professionally, then you will definitely contaminate and continue to contaminate the societal woes and pollution that are within the village. But if you're a police officer, then you're going to do, and a sheriff and city council member and those people, if you actually care, then you're going to do whatever you can do. And student body, I'm talking about everybody involved. You're going to do what it can to make sure that the ship is tightly ran all over. That's not in a fairy tale land. That's in a land where there are energies that are balanced, and you can balance your energy, and these results can exist. Moving forward. I took notes. I threw in the elevator incident. Well, wait a minute. No, I'm going to do that in a minute. I'll do that one in a minute. But here we go. Safety concerns. The body of a student was found in a Mississippi River. There was a car crash that occurred, and her body was recovered, and they're not saying too much about it, but it is being investigated. What happened on that bridge? What happened? What happened? A body being recovered from a river is devastating, right? On one end, the family finally knows what, there's a body, so you can now have the services. But it's tragic because you don't know what happened. And in not knowing what happened, you will some parents gain, some parents gain anxiety. And as I mentioned, either they hit rock bottom or they become a vigilante. But either way, it's a loud silence when you don't know what happened, past the fact that your daughter or your son's body has been discovered in the Mississippi River. I have driven over that river. Well, not personally driven over the river, but I've been in the car driving over that river, and that river is no joke. You can't see, and I remember when we were driving over it the last time when we were all a unit, and I saw an alligator, or was that a crocodile? I think it was an alligator. Whatever, I saw it, and that is terrifying. So having to actually be on the other end of having to go and be a part of the dive team to look for a body and have to deal with those elements, I will always say shout out to the rescue team, the first responders, because they endure a lot on their eyes and in their mind based on the tragedy that they are going to deal with. Okay? So we don't know what happened on that bridge with that accident, how she ended up in the river. And I am wondering if this in fact is foul play, if whoever she was in an accident with possibly threw her over the river, if she was under the influence of something possibly. Whatever happened, it happened, and it's unsolved and it needs to be solved. Moving forward, Marquez Jones, 21, body found after attending a party with allegedly there were all girls. He was the only one who allegedly left, and his car was found in an abandoned apartment, and after that his body was found. What happened at the party? Who set him up? Have you all interviewed all the girls? And what is the investigation outcome so far? I smell foul play, and when you go to a house party or any type of function, you always have to keep your head on a swivel. But when you're going to a house party or function with people who you know or feel comfortable around, sometimes you can lower your vigilance, and next thing you know, somebody's plotting and planning on you, and it just ends up foul. What happened to this man? His family said they're not going to let it go cold, and they want to know why they did this. Why did you do this to him? And I want to know. The village wants to know why. There's something about being a messy ass female that really, really, I don't deal with messy females. And I smell messy ass females and messy ass niggas in this. And yeah, you're 16, you're 17, you're 15, and you're messy as all get out. And you know that. You live for it, you thrive for it, and you do messy ass shit. So I'm going to speak to you in a grown ass way, since you're choosing to do things as if you are older. Can't nobody tell you shit. So what's going on? Now, there might have been one or two that wasn't with the fuck shit, but all in all, something went left with this man to where his body was found and his car was found and abandoned at an apartment complex. Who drove the car? Who was in the car? What's going on? Straight up. Some of you are possessed by the devil, and you need to know it. You have demons inside of you. That's what's going on. You got demons deep inside of you. They're in your bloodline. That's why you do this shit. And, a lot of questions I ask, I know the answer to when I talk about who's raising you. I know it's just not the person who gave birth to you. There's a lot of things that are raising you. So when you all gather for these functions, as I mentioned before, in these parties, some of y'all feel it's cool to set up because you're so desperate to please or to catch the attention from whatever nigga you're trying to catch attention from. Just say it. You're looking for attention. That's why you're the setup chick at 16. You have no type of empathy in your spirit. That's why you don't give a fuck and can't nobody tell you stuff. That's why you got a bad attitude. But let me just dig in you just for a little bit and say, a lot of you young people who have badass attitudes, I know why you have badass attitudes. You have encountered some shit in your lives that have you completely in shock and traumatized. You don't eat properly. You're overworked, underdeveloped, and you have a lot of entities that are after you. The war on your head is real. Now, I know a bad attitude, and I done been around a lot of them. So I can handle any bad attitude that I get from anybody. Because I'm still going to tell you, you're wounded. That's why you're biting at me. But I'm here to rescue you because you have barbed wire around you. Yeah, I'm going to have to put on protective gloves. Yes, I'm going to have to put on some scratch-resistant clothes. But I'm still coming in to get this barbed wire out of you because that's the source of the pain. You're wounded, neglected, abandoned. Some of you are really going through some hard times in your life. That's why your decision-making is off. That's why you're entertaining company that if you were in your right mind, you wouldn't. Let me explain something to you about me. Growing up, I made the bad decisions so you won't have to. Choosing low vibrating men, karmic men, males, boys, being in situations that I have no business being in and making it out by the grace of the Most High God, yet and still learning lessons. I know what it is to put yourself in company because you just want to belong. You just want to feel. You're looking for surrogacy. And you are walking into surrogate situations that are deadly. Can be deadly. And you're willing to please, willing to do anything just to be popular, just to fit in, just to belong, or just to have somebody who doesn't want you anymore. You're willing to go lengths that if you would just vibrate higher, you would say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. In school, in the summertime, if you have anybody practicing on a field in extreme heat, the blood is on your hands. If you are working your students to where they are throwing up, passing out, getting sick, collapsing, and dying, then you need to stop everything that you're doing and come up with something different. There is no sport on this earth that is more important than a human. I will say it louder for the people in the back. There is no sport or activity that is more important than the life of the human. This young girl passed away while at practice. And this is a phenomenon. Students dying while participating in after-school activities. Working in conditions that are not okay. But the win is so important, right? The state championship, the tournament, the trophy, the accolade, the ribbon, the first place, the recognition. It's so important, right? For the district. For the community, right? This is money. These are money makers, right? These students. That's why you have them in 113-degree weather, pushing themselves to the brink of death. And now you have students who are left devastated because their teammate, classmate, is dead. There's no way I would allow my students to practice in conditions that are not conducive to their health. Outside of a natural death, anything that creates the high potential for murder in the student body, it needs to be dismantled and it needs to be reorganized or discontinued. I don't give a fuck about your state championship, your victory, your first place, your cheerleading competition, none of that shit. If any of your students or any one of those young people perish as a result of you pushing them to their brink so you can be number one, you are guilty of their death. Know that. Partly. You play a role. You're an accessory. Sports, dancing, cheerleading, stepping, gymnastics, baseball, basketball, any activity where you are a tyrant to the student. You yell, you bust blood vessels, you're an asshole, jerk. Nothing is ever good enough. You know that this is the best that they got, but you make them break themselves. And you call it whooping them into shape. I call it being an asshole, a devil. You say if you can't push your team this way, they won't be the best. I say, what is your definition of the best? How can they be the best if they're dead? Oh, they're replaceable. You've got somebody lined up. You already got somebody lined up just in case, right? But then when the cameras roll, you're most definitely going to act so sad. You just can't believe that it happened. To be the best, to be number one, to say that second place is not good enough. Parents pushing your student to be the best. Beyond their capability to be the best. Nothing is ever good enough, and they are desperately trying to please you. They want your validation and your attention because all throughout their life you have given them the energy that they're not good enough. And you are either giving them the energy that your parents gave you, or you are projecting your failures and your desires to have accomplished certain things at their age onto your child, living through your child, and you're not even really paying attention to them. It's about how other people admire them. And when they tell you that they don't want to, they don't feel good, or they don't even want to participate in this sport, there's consequences for their independent thinking. And so you drag them to practice. You don't let their natural gifts manifest. How much do you want the win? We'll be right back after this commercial break. Brotherhood, sisterhood, leadership. Those are the qualities that you were looking for when you were joining, not humiliation. The latest episode of The Culture Climate on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts on this episode. Death before degree, hazing in fraternities and sororities. On The Culture Climate, we're covering what others are afraid to cover in the village, including controversial conversations, taboo subject matters, addressing the inner me's, exposing the enemies, interviews, audio from video clips, international, national, local news affecting the village. Click the link for the latest episode. On the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Remember, you don't have to die to belong. You're in love. You never thought that your wife would put antifreeze in your drink. You never suspected that your new bride would hire a hitman to kill you. Now you're out for a morning jog and someone is following you. The latest episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts on this episode. Death Will Part Us, Murder for Money, The Black Widow Bride. On the Suspense Files, we're covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime, including crimes of passion, deadly relationships, mysteries, urban cold cases, and more. Before you go and propose, before you order your bride in the mail, listen to this episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve.
Listening to the Sister Speak Show is even easier now with the new abilities available from Spreaker's Skill on Amazon Alexa. With Spreaker on Alexa, you can now listen to the Sister Speak Show from even more places from all around the world. You also have navigation control, fast forward and rewind podcasts to make sure you never miss a second of your favorite show. And then you can ask for show recommendations like the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. The Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. I told you I go there. I'm not playing about anything that I'm saying. I mean everything that I'm saying. A lot of times, relationships just, they get out of hand. That's with anybody. And, you know, a restraining order is supposed to literally keep someone from contacting you, staying, a certain amount of feet away from you, because this person has violated you, crossed your boundaries, and has put you in a situation where you fear for your life. That's the purpose of a restraining order, to keep somebody from harassing you, gang stalking you. Like the restraining order that I would like to take out on the people who gang stalked me and the things that were done to me because they violated. So when you cross boundaries, you do have a right to file a restraining order. The thing about a restraining order is some of the people who are being restrained, they don't listen. They still continue to create offenses and engage in criminal activity at your expense primarily, and at either your demise and their demise secondarily. And it puts you in a position where you would hate to have to even put a restraining order on somebody who you love, so you thought. But then you find out that this is lust, learn, or this is a family member, and you have to go to this length. But here we are, this young girl, 18, having, 17 probably at the time, having to put a restraining order on her baby daddy or her man. And he set fire to her car at school. That's enough. At that point, we're shutting everything down, and we're going to make sure that this young man is off the streets. Once my school campus has been put in danger, I will exercise my authority and make sure that this does not happen again, to the best of my ability. And I will make sure that other people will fulfill their roles in the community so we can be a village. I can't believe this is such a tragedy. Look, there are things that we can do, strategies that can be put in place to where these crimes are less, we don't have to report on them as much. But he killed her, and then he shot himself after being put on child support. When anytime we're out of order, chaos will occur. That's with anybody. And the young love syndrome creates an obsession that leads to possession, that leads to being possessive. And young people don't know how to fight their way out of the fight. They're not equipped to actually battle the spiritual warfare that's going on. Abandonment issues will cause someone to be obsessed. Mother-father issues. And as a result, young people experiencing domestic violence and never saying anything. Some think it's cute. The bad boy. Nothing good comes from a bad boy. And bad things happen when you get with bad boys. But you want a bad boy because a nice guy is just boring. When you get a little older, you're going to appreciate boring. That's if you make it. Because he's not going to take that breakup as easy as you thought. She's not going to take that breakup as easy as you thought. And no one wins. Your bad boy is playing with a gun and you think it's cute. He points it at your head and he pulls the trigger. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you have been in situations where your nigga pulled out a gun on you. And you're still with the nigga. Partly because you're afraid of him. He already told you if you leave him, he'll blow your head off. And you're just a junior in college. You're just a junior in high school. You're riding around with his friends, and he is with the shit, but you have no idea that they're into some deep street shit. And they ended up killing somebody, and you're in the car with them, and now your man's got a gun to your head telling you if you say anything, he'll blow your brains out. And he accidentally pulls the trigger. And because he's with the shit, he's going to push your body out the car. Right? Wrong. It is wrong, but this is the thing he's going to do. Right? Or, you know, he's going to leave you in an alley. He's going to drive the car to an alley and put the gun underneath you and make it look like you committed suicide because you want to leave him. He can't take no for an answer. It's crazy because the energy is so unbalanced with a lot of you brothers as well as sisters. Some of you, some, where it's like you're cheating, but you'll be damned if somebody cheats on you. You're a whole whoremonger out here. You're a whole whore out here. But you are absolutely choosing to go the fuck off and have the nerve to be mad when the person you're dealing with is quote unquote cheating on you. You're either single or married. So we gonna have to look at, it's about just this loyalty. It's the loyalty. It's the betrayal. Right? But you'll be damned if somebody do it to you. You want somebody to stay with you, but you're the devil. At 16. You keep putting your hands on him. You keep putting your hands on her. And you want to know why they want to leave. Everything is toxic. They've had enough. And you don't want them to have enough. You're going to kill them. And then you'll turn the gun on you and kill yourself too. Senseless. Unbalanced energy. Say no to sex. say no to fornication. We're not ready for it. A lot of us are not ready to be in relationships, and that doesn't matter what age you are. You're just not ready. Did your man point his gun at your head? Are you still with him? That's frightening. Secrets. Secret life. Secret strife. And now you're caught up in it. Oh my goodness. 16 years old, 21-year-old boyfriend. He kills her. They didn't know how old he was. Uh-oh, excuse me. I knew that was going to happen. We're back, brothers and sisters. I apologize. Right when I was getting into it, that's just that energy. I still have to say what I have to say. 16 years old, 21 years old. The family had no idea. And now we're in a situation where this young lady's life has been taken because yet again, another nigga's pointing a gun at the woman, at a female's head. What's up with you niggas that keep doing this shit? You niggas are so excited to get a gun in your hands. Now fucking what? Now that you got a gun in your hands, now fucking what? No, let me put this on pause. Now that you got a gun in your fucking hand, now what? You proud of yourself? Huh? You proud of yourself because you out here killing people, pointing guns at women's heads, your own head, other people's heads, huh? Hot head? You juiced about it, huh? Got a gun in your head. You can't wait to see how this motherfucker works, right? That's what's going on in your head. That's what you're saying. Oh, you ready to tear some shit up, wet somebody up, huh? You ready to catch a body, huh? You so excited to be a hoe for the devil. So excited. You can't wait to run and pull your pants down for the devil. Huh? That's what you want to do? Keep being a murderer? Being abusive? What happened with your daddy? Deal with it. What's really got you being so evil? Talk about it. What did you see growing up? What are your issues that make you be so violent? That make you love darkness? Huh? What's going on inside of you? What happened? Because you're destroying the village. When we don't teach our children about education and relationships, we're destroying the village. When they see our toxic behaviors and our toxic relationships, we are destroying the village. When we don't teach our children how to heal and vibrate high, it's because we don't know how to. That's no excuse. It's just we don't know how to, most of us. But you have to be willing to do the work. Unless you're accustomed to the darkness and are not willing to open up the blinds. When the Savior passes by, do you say, Savior, pass me by? Or do you say, Savior, do not pass me by? What are you teaching your children that are in high school and in college? What are they seeing? What does the support system look like? Nobody. should be murdered in the student body. Expelled. No one will tell. Because who am I to tell you how to raise your children? If I have to walk by them, if I have to walk by them and I feel threatened, I'm going to tell you about your children. Because your children don't punk me. That spirit doesn't punk me. A lot of you teachers are afraid of your students. That is ridiculous. A lot of you principals are afraid. The students are the principal, not you. A lot of you campus staff members, you're lost. You have no idea what's going on. There's no way you can represent the village and not have a strategy in place to equip these young people with what they need in order to avoid journalists like myself having to report on news like this. The curriculum has to change. Don't say this, don't say that. If you say this, you'll get in trouble. If you say that, you'll get in trouble. The devil in the district, penalizing teachers for going above and beyond. You can only go above and beyond if it suits their needs. Meanwhile, you have students that you have an obituary for, if you be real. How does that make you feel? Not good, of course. It shouldn't. But the first funeral you attended, it was more than likely because of violence. When I was in high school, my first understanding of death came in high school, of how close it could be. A peer being murdered. Seeing a peer murdered and it making the news. Having a student be raped for over 2 hours by her own classmates and men off the street. Hearing that news and breaking down. The school failed her. And then only prosecuting the brown assailants and not the white boy who led her back there. Cody, your day is coming, straight up. There comes a time where you have to say, we have failed. You're always focusing on the children, the youth, passing and making sure that these test scores are high so the school can look like it's doing its job, but you're failing these students daily. They need you. And you're not there. And then when that murder happens, and that that news camera comes to your school, spotlight on you. Now they want to know what went wrong. The job is not on you in totality, but you do play a major part in making sure that the students learn about life. Can't say this, can't say that. Next thing you know, your students getting killed with a gat. Or they're being assaulted with a bat. Now where they do that? Think about it. Each one teach one. a killer in your home. Some of you live with murderers. Your 16-year-old is a murderer. Some of you actually live with one. And you don't want to do shit about it. You're terrified. Or you're still suffering from postpartum depression. We shall overcome what? The miseducation of the village. Expelled. No one will tell. Murder in the student body. My brown people. All shades of brown people. It is devastating to have to report on news like this. I still have to do it though. There was a time when learning your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s was cute. Going to daycare and, just growing up, right? There was a time. And nobody ever enrolls in school thinking that they're not going to graduate. You don't expect tragedy to be your fate. You don't expect a peer or a roommate to have it in for you and kill you. You're not expecting these things. You're not expecting to be in an abusive relationship. There is not one person who asked for that. You're expecting loyalty. You're expecting truth. You're expecting bliss. Not obsession. Not abuse. Not violent incidents that if they don't stop, will take you out. Or you and the assailant out. Murder-suicide. When's the last time you checked on your child? When's the last time you sat down and had a good conversation with your son and your daughter about life? When's the last time you have opened up the bridge to communication with your children? Are you a good listener? Do you give good wisdom? What does your support look like? How involved are you in their lives? Righteously involved. When's the last time you went out to lunch with your children? Sat down and opened up. When's the last time that you investigated and popped up? When's the last time you checked the class for bullying your child? Checked an administrator for disrespecting? When is the last time you showed your child or children that you got their back? When's the last time you rallied around your baby? When you ask them what's wrong and they say nothing, did you let it go or did you keep persisting until you got to the bottom of it? You know your baby. You know when something is off. You know when there is something wrong. They don't want to talk to you, but you can feel it in your spirit. You see it. And whatever it is, it needs immediate attention. They don't know how to tell you that they're being abused, bullied, have some problems with some broads at the school, females, at the school. They don't know how to tell you. They're paralyzed with fear, and it's going to be on you to be the equalizer, a vigilante. Not your family, not your lineage, not your home, not your baby. No. Mm-mm. When's the last time you put on your warrior outfit and got in the ring and handled that spiritual warfare? It goes deeper than just the basics. When's the last time you got involved righteously in your child's life? Now, you don't sit high and look low. No, everything cannot be prevented. Yes, a lot can be curbed. Yes, we can pick up trash and put it in the garbage. Yes, we can balance our energies and vibrate higher. We are without excuse. The spirit of laziness and stagnation has really had its way with our people. And we do perish for lack of knowledge. And we perish because we don't open up our mouth when we are perishing. Why don't we create safe spaces in the village? What the fuck is wrong with my people? That we can't even create a fucking safe space for our children, for ourselves. That we have to find other outlets just to get it out. And sometimes we don't even do that. I'm asking today, why are there no safe spaces in the village? Why are we doing so much fucking with no education, no wisdom, and even having sex, fucking people that we have no business having sex with? Nobody's here to be the professor. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody actually wants to straighten up. That's why we keep having the chaos. That's why these obsessions keep happening. That's the problem. That's the who, what, when, where, why in the urban crime. It's the spiritual aspect of it, brothers and sisters. Let me explain something to you. The moment that they leave the house and they go to that college campus or they go to that high school, I'm telling you, they are facing something so serious. And it can lead to murder in the student body. Class is always in session. What type of student are you? Our brothers and sisters are young, but they keep going through a lot of abuse, things they can't even talk about. Inside, they are dying to let out a shout, filled with doubt and fear, trying to navigate through this world. Their energy is unbalanced because they're in love with a boy or a girl. They want to tell you, but they're so closed within. They don't know how to tell you that they're having trouble with their friend. Please don't turn a blind eye. Please don't be a deaf ear. Our children are living in fear. The devil is after them. He's not slowing down. He's here to destroy every young person in town. We can't let that go down. I thank you for listening to, that was a freestyle. I thank you for listening to Hold on. Make sure I got this. There we go. I thank you for listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. Tonight's episode, Expelled. No One Will Tell. Murder in the Student Body. Rated R for strong content, language, thoughts. I appreciate you so much for being a wonderful listening audience. Until we speak again, be careful. Be vigilant. The devil is seeking whom he may devour. On the high school campuses, on the college campuses, at the parties, in the relationships, seeking whom he may devour. Be very careful and be encouraged. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer, my God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I'm divinely protected, and so is my listening audience. We return to sender all negative demonic energy, the evil eye, and may it have an adverse effect immediately in your bosom 100-fold. Warriors, mount up.